Hello, my crafty friends. We're down to the next to the last week in this um, Promises of God in Psalms alphabet study. And this week we're doing V and W, which W is for watching over us, and V is for victory that we have in Jesus. And this the victory that God gives us. The version that I'm using doesn't use either one of those words. That's one thing about having so many different versions at our fingertips, is that they all say things just a little bit differently. The words are trying to portray the same message. They just use different words. That's a thesaurus might be necessary sometimes. We're using Psalms 3 for this, and I'm going to go ahead and read it first. O Lord, how many are my foes? How many rise up against me? Many are saying of me, God will not deliver him. But you are a shield around me, O Lord. You bestow glory on me and lift up my head. To the Lord I cry aloud, and he answers me from his holy hill. I lie down and sleep. I wake again because the Lord sustains me. I will not fear the tens of thousands drawn up against me on every side. Arise, O Lord, deliver me, O my God. Strike all my enemies on the jaw. Break the teeth of the wicked. From the Lord comes deliverance. May your blessing be on your people. And the word sustains here could be switched for watches over me. I wake again because the Lord watches over me. The word deliverance could be translated, and I've seen in other translations, as salvation or victory. From the Lord comes salvation, or from the Lord comes deliverance. May your blessing be on your people. And so the watches over me and the victory are the words for this week, but my version doesn't use those words, and I didn't put them when I wrote the scripture down. I used the words that came from this version, but I easily could have substituted them. But I felt like since I was using this version, I didn't need to substitute them. I don't know that anybody would fault me for substituting them, but I didn't. This psalm is when David was running from his son Absalom, and he talks about his foes, and he's saying everybody says that I can't win in this situation. And I cannot imagine, it's bad to have people chasing you and trying to kill you, trying to take your throne away from you if you're a king. But it's even worse for that to be your son who's chasing you down and trying to kill you. And God did provide deliverance for David. But it was, I don't know, that just struck me that it's like twice as bad that it was his son that was had it out for him, his son that was chasing him. But he slept, peacefully even during that rebellion. And the difference was, from what it could have been, is that he cried out to the Lord, and the Lord heard him, and he knew the Lord heard him. And the assurance of his prayer, of his answered prayer, brought peace. Now, he didn't know how God was going to deliver him. He didn't know what was going to happen. He just knew that he had faith in God to take care of him, and that gave him peace. And that's a peace that we should all have as well. Not many of us are out running around with 10,000 people chasing us down and trying to kill us. Most of us are not. I can't imagine anybody who's watching this video who's probably in that situation. But David was in that situation. And it was, he was crying out for help, and he was wondering, why is this happening to me, But then after all of this, he says, God, deliver me, strike these people, take care of this, because you're a just God and I didn't deserve this. But he also says at the very end, from the Lord comes deliverance. May your blessing be on your people. And that's where he stopped. He didn't stop with, everybody's out to get me, why am I being so mistreated? He stopped with, I have faith. The Lord will provide deliverance. And I think that sometimes we get, at least I do, get on a worry party, a pity party, we lay down and we worry about everything that we can't control. And David had no control over what was going on here. He just had to wait for the Lord. And but he was able to sleep because of it. And he woke up again because the Lord watched over him and he didn't get killed in the night. Um, I think, you know, when you're in that situation and you can have that kind of faith, that's powerful. And even though we're not in that situation, things are not that bad for us, we sometimes still lack the faith to sleep soundly. And that spoke to me because I am one of those people that lays down at night and then starts worrying over everything. And that's, of course, when I say my prayers. I pray for my family and my friends and everybody I know who's going through hard times. And our hard times are real. I'm not trying to say that because we don't have 10,000 people trying to kill us, that our hard times are not as real and that we don't have as big of worries. Because death's not the worst thing that can happen to you. If you're a believer, you know, when you die, you just go to be with Jesus. So there are a lot worse things that can happen to you. But and we need to remember that, you know. But also, we just need to have the faith to put it at God's feet and leave it there. And that is a struggle I've always had. I give it to God and I feel peace, and then I start worrying again. And we don't want to do that. We want to give it to God and leave it there. If David can do it in that situation, we ought to be able to do it too. Because he was human like we're human. And this is a long bunch of verses, so there's not going to be a lot of room to do much decorating on this page. And I've got I don't know why this is I don't know why I'm wanting red on here, but I guess because it'll pop. And so I've kind of got you know, some idea of putting some red on here. This one was red, and when I picked it out and thought, oh, you know, it's a little more peachy red, so it went really well. And when I sprayed these, and they're redder. They're not as, you know, they don't go quite as well as that one, but I'm going to use them anyway. And I noticed on here that the leaves are this kind of turquoisey color, and that's why I chose these papers to write my verses on. And then there's a lot of gold. And so I took some leaf die cuts that people sent me, and I sprayed them. Well, I first sprayed them blue, trying to get some kind of a teal color, and that didn't work out so well. So then I sprayed them with gold. It's actually my thing wouldn't spray, so I dipped them in it. But it was this yellow that has some gold in it. You can see the gold in the bottom. And so I made a mess when I did it. And then they're in various shades of gold. They're not all, that one's really gold, and some of the others are less. But I kind of liked that about them, that they're not all perfect. And they've got, you know, different colors and stuff going on. I think I'm going to put all the leaves down underneath the verses. And then I'll put the flowers on top. So we're not going to see a whole lot of the leaves, but I think I'm going to do something like that. So I'm going to go and glue this stuff down like this, and then I'll come back and we'll play with these and see if we even want them on there at all. I may just leave it like this. I really kind of like that. But I'm going to pause for a minute and glue this stuff down. I forgot to tell y'all that I got this paper that's on here. It's a tissue paper that was in Happy Mail from my friend Mary Dale Abrams, the Mariotier, and I just loved it, so I put it on here as my background. I kind of don't need to do much to it because of that. That's so pretty on its own. And I intended to ink these, and I didn't. A little bit frustrating. Excuse me. But I forget that pretty often. If you've watched all of these Psalms videos, you know that I forget that pretty often. So I'm going to use this gold Sharpie. It's what I'm going to use to border the pages too. So So I think it's okay to do this with it. But excuse me just a minute. Sorry about that. Yeah, I think I like that outlined. I also meant to round those corners that are not round, and I forgot to do that too. Oh goodness, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm gonna stick some paper over here and go ahead and do the edges. This side kind of has scruffy edges, and I'm just going to leave them that way. Now I'll do this side. Well, it looks like I glued it all down. There we go. We've got one more study in this alphabet, God's promises in Psalms, and then I'm going to move on to studying something else. And I've been wanting to study the prophecies in the Old Testament and how they're fulfilled in the New Testament for quite a while, and I haven't done it. So I've decided that's what I'm going to do. And the Lord still hasn't given me peace about doing a study live stream. So I think I'm just going to do videos. I feel like that's what I'm supposed to do for several reasons. But anyway, just giving you a heads up on that. I'll talk to you more about it. We'll kind of have an introduction to it the week after next. Okay. I've got some flowers here. Thinking about adding them in. Okay, I thought I had another one. But you know what? I don't want to. I really like it just like this. I really do. I think that this would shift the focus where I don't want it. So that was quick and easy. Put down your paper and make a border and put some leaves on it. But I like it. Sometimes simple is really nice, and that's how I feel today. This looks peaceful to me, and the way to peace is to give it to God. So that's I like that. We're going to stop right there. May God bless you, and I hope that you have a wonderful Sunday. Bye-bye.